Hi and good morning everyone and welcome. It's great to see so many of you have decided to join us today. But before we begin, I'd just like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation upon whose ancestral lands our city campus now stands. I pay respect to the elders, both past and present, acknowledging them as the traditional custodians of knowledge for this land. So just before we get into our webinar today, just some general housekeeping. So this webinar will now be recorded. We will record our audio and video footage and the slide presentation which we're currently sharing, and any of the written questions you provide us throughout the presentation. We don't have access to your webcam or microphone, so we're not able to see or hear you. So there's no need to worry about that. However, if you do have any concerns about your privacy, please feel free to get in contact with us at UTS by emailing marketingprivacy@uts.edu.au. So firstly, I'll introduce you to our panel today. My name is Vicky, a student ambassador at UTS Science, and I'm currently a PhD student in forensic science. I'm pleased to introduce you to your hosts today, Dr. James Brown. James is the head of discipline for mathematical sciences at UTS Science, and Dr. Annette Dowd, who is a senior lecturer in the School of Mathematical and Physical Sciences. We also have Kelly on the panel. Kelly is a student ambassador at UTS Science as well, and she's also currently studying the Bachelor of Science, majoring in mathematics. So together, we'll be presenting you with an overview of maths and physics at UTS and answer any questions you may have at the end of the session. We'll run through why you should consider maths or physics, what career opportunities are out there, and discuss what it's like as a student studying here at UTS. We'll then open up the floor to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Vicky, for the introduction. As Vicky said, I'm a professor in the discipline of mathematical and mathematical sciences at UTS, and I'm currently the head of discipline for that program. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we have available at UTS in terms of studying mathematics at our undergrad. And then Annette's going to tell you a little bit about the options in the physics discipline. So currently at the moment in mathematics, we offer two options for you to study mathematics with us at UTS. One of them is a brand new degree that we're bringing in this year, which is a Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences, and that's a specialist mathematics degree with two majors, one in statistics and data science and one in pure and applied mathematics. And that degree is going to probably have an ATAR of around 90 when we start enrolling in 2022. So that's a specialist mathematics degree, but for some of you might think, well, I do really enjoy mathematics, but I'd like to still keep a bit more of a broader science flavor as well. And therefore we have a major in mathematics in the Bachelor of Science degree. And the difference between that and the Bachelor of Mathematics is that the major in the Bachelor of Science degree offers you choices to do a little bit more other science, as well as just focusing on your maths and statistics. Next slide, please. So why study maths or statistics? Well, obviously, the answer to that question may well be simply that that's something that you've really enjoyed during your time at high school, and you just want the opportunity to expand and extend your study in that space. But I'm sure you're well aware, the last year and a half has really emphasized the importance of data and mathematical and statistical modeling to us. All of those decisions that are being made at the moment around COVID and lockdowns and when we can open up and all of that, they're all based off mathematical and statistical models or epidemiological models. And so increasingly you see that mathematics and statistics are used in the wider world to make commercial decisions and also to make government policy decisions as well. So there's no doubt that there is a wide range of opportunities if you're studying mathematics and statistics. So it really opens a wide number of doors for you coming out at the end of your degree in specialist roles, but in more general roles as well. Next slide, please. So there are two options if you're interested in mathematics with us at UTS. So one of them is to do the Bachelor of Science program and take the major in mathematics, and that also includes statistics as well. So it gives you wide opportunities to go out into careers, into engineering, into industry, into healthcare, education, finance, and take those mathematical skills out into the workplace. Gives you a wide range of flexible skills. You can apply those in a wide range of situations across the sciences, social sciences, finance, commercial, and so on. And I guess the point being that obviously the Bachelor, a major in mathematics and statistics within the Bachelor of Science really fits with that future of the world, a data-driven world, businesses generating data and wanting to utilize that data and leverage off that data to enhance their commercial success. But also, of course, increasingly, we're looking at government wanting to leverage off data for social good, to improve government policies, to improve the way that we put resources into different situations. Next slide, please. So as I said, we're also really excited to say that we're launching this year a new degree, which is a real specialist degree in mathematical sciences. So what's the difference between that and the Bachelor of Science Mathematics? As I said, both degrees will give you a foundation in the mathematical sciences, but the Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences will really push you to that higher level in the mathematics space. And you'll take one of two majors, either in statistics and data science, or one in pure and applied mathematics. And the statistics and data science really is pushing you into that area where businesses are looking to make decisions through their data, through data science statistics. Subtle differences between data science and statistics. Statistics is more looking at understanding processes, whereas data science is often about making predictions from large data. Alternatively, you can stick in the pure and applied mathematics major, which really keeps you in that strong mathematical modeling situation, but also allows you to cross over and do some study from business as well, looking in the logistics and finance space. And UTS has a strong history of mathematical finance, and that's really captured in that pure and applied mathematics major, and then the options to go on into honours year or to study our Master of Quant Finance later. And in your final year, we have these opportunities to undertake internship placements, and that gives you the opportunity to take those mathematical skills that you've been learning into the marketplace and generate those really good experiences, which then really enhance your employability going forward. So that's enough for me from the mathematical sciences perspective. I'm going to pass over to Annette to talk a little bit about what's on offer in the physics space.
Okay, well, thank you, James. Again, my name is Dr. Annette Dowd. I'm in the discipline of physics at UTS. Now, why would one consider studying physics or nanotechnology? Well, when you have a physics or a nanotechnology degree, you'll be learning how to solve problems concerning the real world, and you'll be solving them in a numerical and quantitative way. The power of that is that you can actually predict things that will happen. And so our graduates have been moving into areas that you wouldn't have thought are actually related to physics, but have been contributing to society in some very interesting ways. Okay, next slide, please, Vicky. So next year, we will be running two majors within the Bachelor of Science. One major is applied physics. Now, in applied physics, you will be using and learning physics. And in particular at UTS, our strength and our drive is to apply this into real world situations, into useful technologies, into working in multidisciplinary environments. So the top diagram here shows a paint that has been developed at UTS. There's a visible photograph on the right-hand side, and the left-hand side shows you an infrared photograph. And you can see that this is specially designed paint, so understanding the physics and the optics and the material properties has meant that this paint's been designed so that although it looks, the roof looks white and the thing in the person's hand looks white, the thing in the person's hand is actually quite cold and a very different temperature to the classic white roof, which you can see in the infrared picture is quite hot. So by understanding interesting physics and particularly in optics, we often are able to come up with new technologies such as white paint that is actually very cold and can keep your house nice and cool in the summer. We also offer and encourage our students to take internships, especially in their final year. So I have some students, for example, who are doing some work at Lucas Heights at the moment, and I also have students who are working on understanding the minerals that can be used in bone grafts for medical applications. So a huge range of applications. Vicky, next slide, please. The other major that we offer next year is nanotechnology. Now, this is physics with a particular spin on it. Again, you'll be using physics to understand how materials work, how they interact with light or electricity. But in particular, you'll be focusing on the very, very small. Again, you can do an internship with this. And we have some unique facilities at UTS for both the manufacture of the very small and microscopes and electron microscopes and the like for analyzing the very small. So this is a niche but very important application of physics for the design of new materials for medicine, for technology and many other areas. Next slide, Vicky. Now, a lot of people, when they come into university, think that if you do a physics degree, you have to become a physicist or a school teacher, and that's all there is. Now, I have on the graph here, I've shown you where our physics graduates end up. And you can see that, for example, a lot of them actually end up working in the medical area, which you wouldn't necessarily think of as a place to start with. We also have students who move into energy, who move into instrumentation, electronics, looking at and designing and supporting the design of new kinds of technologies, for example, for microscopes, telescopes, or medical imaging. And of course, we have a number of graduates who work in government research, such as with ANSTO at Lucas Heights, CSIRO, and also in universities. Thanks, Vicky. James, would you like to mention anything about the bridging courses?
I can say so. Yes, we do offer bridging courses coming into the program. So for those of you who are perhaps a little concerned about whether your maths or physics will be up to standard when you finish your HSC, we have these bridging courses which we run in January, February, and these are not replacements for your HSC studies, but they're a way for you to reinforce those foundations from your HSC in preparation to starting your studies at UTS. We also have pathways coming into UTS which are more flexible. So for example, in the mathematics space, there is a pathway that allows you to do a subject called Foundation Mathematics, which is for those of you who don't feel that your maths is at the level required to come straight into your studies. So we have several ways of supporting you in that transition through from your HSC into your studies at university. As I say, the bridging courses is one of those that we run in January, February to help you in your preparations. I don't know, Net, if you'd like to say anything else about the physics one.
No, I don't have anything to add on that.
Okay, thanks. Next slide then, Vicky.
Okay, so thanks for that, James and Annette. I just wanted to add that UTS is also pleased to share with you our early entry program. So this program, it allows high achieving school students to secure a place in your preferred UTS degree based on your year 11 academic achievements. So I believe applications are now open for year 12 students wishing to study with us in 2022. If you want some more information about this program, you can head to uts.edu.au/early-entry. But we also do have advisors on chat online today, so you can always ask them about this program. So, oops.
Thanks very much, Vicky. We're now going to, that's probably enough for us, and we're going to move on in a second to answering some of your questions that I see you've been putting into the chat. Just a reminder, as Vicky said, there are people online today, and certainly if you want to go and have further chats with people about maths or physics or any of the undergraduate degrees at UTS, we have those opportunities. Also, of course, we would have loved to have had you with us on campus today, but that simply isn't possible in the current environment. But you can check out the virtual tour of our awesome facilities that we have on the city campus. All of that's available on our Open Day website. But that's pretty much enough from us for a second. I'm gonna, next slide, please. We're really lucky to have one of our students with us today. So I'm going to ask Kelly a few questions. So Kelly's studying with us in the Bachelor of Science, the mathematics major that I was talking about earlier. So Kelly, what made you decide you wanted to pursue mathematics for your studies?
Yeah. So firstly, I was good at math back in high school, so I wish to further study math at a tertiary level. I also have like a strong interest in applied math. I feel like it's absolutely fascinating to discover the application of math, and that's why I chose it.
Thanks, Kelly. And I think that's that your mention there of applied mathematics is also probably one of the things that really differentiates UTS mathematics from some of the other institutions where you can study mathematics in the Sydney area. So what's been the highlight of your degree so far?
So I feel like every day is a highlight for me. I get to learn a bit more about math every day. It is amazing to learn how math is applied to different fields, and also how math isn't just numbers and equations. It's more like a language that allows you to think from a different perspective. And like you mentioned just then, like applied math is something that UTS teach, like differ from other universities, and that's like the main reason why I chose UTS as well, because I want to learn more applications than just like the theory side of math.
What advice would you share to anyone who's watching today who's interested in in following a career in the space of mathematics statistics?
I would say discover your personal interest first and do lots of research. Job demands for mathematicians is very high these days. As I mentioned in the previous question, math adapts to many different fields. It is something that blends with everything, so heaps of flexibility when it comes to job choices. For me, I wish to find something that involves applied math and macroeconomics. So definitely find your personal interest first and research along that line.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Vicky. Kelly, I think that's a really good piece of advice about the fact that mathematics statistics, it really dovetails with so many other areas. And so it's about finding that niche where you really want to enjoy your mathematics and statistics and working in some other space. Well, thanks very much for sharing that with us, Kelly. Back to you, Vicky, I think for the question and answer session.
Hey, thanks so much, James and Kelly. So now, if we have any questions, now is your absolute best chance to get your answers, and we'll do our best to answer your questions live. But if we can't answer it right now, or you come up with a question a little bit later, you can join an advising chat with us today until 3 p.m. If you still miss out, or you come up with another question you want to ask, come back on next Tuesday, and we'll have academics and students online to chat with you between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. So let's have a look at what questions our attendants have popped through today. Okay, so the first question is, What is the difference and the similarities of a Bachelor of Science in Analytics and the Bachelor of Science with a major in Mathematics and Statistics? Are these courses a growing field?
Okay, so the Bachelor of Science in Analytics degree is not enrolling any longer, so that degree doesn't exist, but it's been replaced by our new Bachelor of Mathematics degree that offers you the majors in Statistics and Data Science or Pure and Applied Mathematics. And then the Bachelor of Science, as I said, in Mathematics with the major in Mathematics, that really is a broader science degree. So you're building up your mathematics statistics foundation, but in the context of a broader science degree. The flavour of mathematics, as I said when talking just now with Kelly, the flavour of mathematics at UTS is very much the applied mathematics numerical solutions to mathematical problems. And that's really why we've brought in the Bachelor of Mathematics degree, which builds out from the Bachelor of Analytics degree, recognising that mathematics today, very often, yes, it's about analytic solutions to problems, but it's also about how we solve problems from a numerical perspective as well.
Right, thanks for that, James. Second question is, what is it in the defence industry that involves physics?
Gosh, well, that's a really big one. The defence research in Australia employs, you perhaps then be surprised at a very wide range of people that are employed in defence research. Everything, mathematicians, engineers, scientists, psychologists, all kinds of things, all kinds of people are involved in doing research for defence. If I could then give some personal examples, friends and colleagues that I know who've moved into that area. I have friends who've worked on making sensors to detect different types of radiation. And I've also known some people who have worked in different kinds of using their physics to make different kinds of materials that interact with light in different kinds of ways. But defence is interested in all kinds of ways that science can contribute to how personnel and logistics can be done in Australia.
Great, thanks for that. And then now just another question. May I know which course would you recommend if I want to learn prediction modelling that applies to the finance industry?
So I think really you're looking to do the Bachelor of Mathematics in that situation. And then I think it's a case of whether you would then want to go very much into the predictions modeling side, which would be the statistics and data science, or whether you want to stick more with the mathematical models that they use, the stochastic type approaches they use in finance, where you might then move into the pure and applied mathematics major. But that's not a decision you would need to make at the start. You would join the Bachelor of Mathematics program, and then you would see where your interests went through those. Either of those majors would then allow you access into the quantitative finance master's degree, or indeed doing an honours year where you could actually work your project in quantitative finance space if that was your interest.
Great. Just want to remind our attendants, we have about just a few more minutes of our question and answer time. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat or hold off and you can join one of the advising chats online today. But we'll move on to the next question. Can this new Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences be applied for via early entry?
That's I would assume that the answer to that is yes. Because the early entry program I think is available for all degrees, but that might be something where it would be to get a really solid answer. I would join one of the chat sessions and talk to one of the specialists in relation to the early entry program.
Thanks, James. Next question is, if I choose a major in first year and I don't like it, can I change to another major? And when do I need to decide?
So in the Bachelor of Science program, if you were to start in the mathematics major, you could swap out to, say, for example, applied physics at the end of the first year. You would have to use some of your elective subjects when you made that swap, because some of the subjects are not common in the first year. And likewise, if you're in the applied physics or nanotechnology, you could swap across into mathematics or swap into chemistry. So at the end of the first year in the Bachelor of Science, there's a reasonable amount of
You would never want to leave physics to go into maths, James, honestly.
That's true. Everybody, no one, it's magnetic physics. So once you're in, you can't get away. But there is quite a lot of flexibility in the Bachelor of Science program to swap around within the physical sciences, particularly at the end of your first year. Once you get past the end of your first year, it would become a little bit more tricky to swap, because you would start to really move into specialization of your major. If you're in the Bachelor of Mathematics program, again, the first year would not put you into any particular path, either the statistics, data science, or the pure and applied mathematics. And really, you could change your mind probably even up to the halfway through the second year, and it wouldn't actually probably make a difference to you, because you've got some electives and some choices that you could use if you swapped major and you'd already done certain subjects. So it would be very flexible, certainly in your first year and into the first half of your second year in the Bachelor of Mathematics. And in the Bachelor of Science, a lot of flexibility in that first year to really change across different majors.
Great, thanks for those answers, James and Annette. And probably just the last question for this session, what advice would you give a maths and stats student when they first start the degree so they feel ready to study?
I think just remember that mathematics and statistics, and this would apply to physics as well, our subjects are very much subjects that build all the time on the work that we've done in the past. And so the most important thing when you come in to study with us is that you feel confident about those foundations that you've built in your subjects in your HSC program. If you've got those really solid foundations from your HSC program and you come in, then we'll take care of the rest with you for the next 3 years. But it's those foundations which are really important. So anything you can do to make sure you feel confident about your foundations is really the best way to prepare when you come in. That probably applies it to a whole range of degrees coming in as well.
If I might add to that, while you're actually studying the course, if you feel like you are struggling, there is help while you're going along as well. So you don't only have options for help before you start, but we have maths and science study centres where you can get live help with any maths and science problems that you have. We also have another program called UPass, where students who have passed the subject that you might be struggling with previously and have got a good mark are able to help tutor you through.
Well, thanks so much. But unfortunately, I'm afraid that's all time that we have. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope that you found today's session really valuable, and we hope to meet you on campus very soon. James and Annette, did you have anything else to add before we wrap up?
No, same, Vicky. Thanks very much for joining, and really hope to see some of you face to face on campus very soon.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, that would be wonderful to see you on campus.